Okay, this is the next part. Once you have one texture working, we've already loaded background and crosshair, and they're all going to be texture 2Ds. So we are declaring this variable to be a texture 2D. Well, we can put a comma, and we can add all variables that are texture 2Ds. So background, texture, comma, crosshair, texture. So now we declare all of our textures in one location, and let's do the same thing. All of these have to have rectangles too. So we'll go ahead and put background rect and crosshair rect. So now we have our three textures, our three rectangles, and that was pretty easy. So what we can do now is we need a rectangle for all of them. So let's go ahead and just add those in. So background, now this is the nice thing, since we've already declared the variable, we have it on IntelliSense, equals new rectangle. I'm going to pause this while I continue coding. Guys, when you do the rectangle, you want to find out the width and the height. We're going to make this game be 800 by 600, and we're going to set the background to be that size. So the first thing is the X and Y of the rectangle. In most game design, X of 0 is the left-hand side and a Y of 0 is the top. It's not like your Cartesian grid anymore. So you're going to put 800 by 600, okay, and semicolon. So the background now becomes the full width and height of the screen, and we set it on the far left, upper left-hand corner. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing for our crosshair, but we're just going to put it somewhere else. Okay, at this point, we go ahead and now I have the crosshair design here. I'm pretty sure it's 32 by 32. We can always fix it later if we need to. And we're just going to position it 50 pixels over to the right and 50 pixels down from the top. And then those are our rectangles. Sprite batch. Okay, we need to load our textures, so we'll go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to copy and paste this 2 more times. Copy, enter, paste. It's no longer clown texture, it's background. And background. And then enter, paste. Instead of clown, it's crosshair. Okay? Those are our textures, and now we got to draw them on the, and we're still not going to update anything yet. That'll be the next tutorial. So what we want to do now is in our sprite batch, we want to draw our other objects. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before. Actually, I'm going to code it this time. We need the texture first, the rectangle next, and then we'll do color.white on all of these. And let me just expand this window out. Now check that out. I've been doing color.white so many times that when I put color dot, it was already highlighted at white, so I just hit enter. It really does speed up the process. Now we're going to run this and test this to see if this is how we want it. And when we're done, we should see the clown texture, the background, and the crosshair all on the screen. So I click on debug, which is the green arrow. Wait for it. And we have a problem, Houston. There's no clown. Why don't we have a clown? Where did the clown go? I thought we already made it. It worked before. So here's the deal, guys. The order in which you draw these are important. So if I take this background texture and I draw it last, I move it down here and I test it, watch what happens. Now I can't see anything. And the reason why is the order in which you draw it is the order in which they appear, starting from the farthest away from the viewer to the closest. So let's just move things around a little bit. Just make sure you draw your background first. Now we have it all in the right order. By the way, the order is important because crosshairs should come above the clown. And I'll demonstrate that in a moment. Well, let's test it out, see if we can see everything. Okay, now you can see everything. Remember, crosshair was 50-50. Clown was 200-200. Let's put the crosshair at 200-200 and see what happens. That's going to be on initialization right here. So in the initialize function. So let's change the crosshair rectangle to be 200. Oops, not 2,000. 200 by 200, and let's run it again. And now you can see the crosshair is over the clown. And of course, the crosshair should be in front of the clown, so you should see the crosshair and only see the clown appear through behind the crosshairs. So this is the proper order to put it. However, we're going to move the crosshair back to where it was so that when it begins, it's not on the same location. And at this point, we're ready to start doing some actual programming. And I'm 6 minutes in, so let's do one little thing here. Let's go into the update method and check this out. Put the rectangle, clown rect, dot, check this out, x plus equals 1. Okay, so what's going to happen is every time we update the game, we're going to add 1 to the x position. And let's see where it goes. Remember, 60 times a second, it's going to move a pixel. And there it is. There goes the clown. It's moving off. He's going to escape. Okay? I'll let it go off the screen because watch what happens. Oh, it's gone now. Okay. So once it goes off the screen, you're not going to see it again. And that's if you do a plus equals 1. What if you do a minus equals 1? Go ahead and test it out. Oh, end of the class. Well, at least you get the idea here. There he goes. He's moving to the left. Okay, at this point, we moved our x position. And at this point, we know that if we go -1, we're going to go back to +1, so it goes to the right. Now let's talk about the clown rect y. And we want to make sure, so this is the up and down. So let's see what happens when we add 1 to it. Now, if this were the Cartesian grid and you add 1 to y, you would move up. But it's the opposite when we use game design, where x and y of 0 and 0 is the upper left-hand corner. You'll see that now it's going to go to the right and down. So it'll go diagonally to the lower right. And there it is. So then, of course, we can do minus equals 1. And now we'll go up because y, as it change, if y gets lesser and lesser, it goes up. So it starts at 50, then to 49, 48, 47. It's going to approach 0. When it gets to 0, in this case, it's just going to go off the stage. So at this point, I'm going to end the tutorial, and the rest of the stuff we'll come back to in a little bit. And we'll go over keyboard control, mouse control, and bouncing, scoring, and a bunch of other things. And we'll improve this movement so it's a little bit more interesting. But this is just the general idea of movement on here.